Coming up in the next half hour, author and parenting expert Dr. Erin Leonard is here with advice on how to get your kids to talk to you. If every child was like Lulu, we wouldn't need this next segment.
I know.
Joining me right now is Dr. Erin Leonard. She's a parenting expert. How to get your kids to talk to you. I don't think Katie has a problem with you getting information out of Lulu. But that's not typical, certainly not in television. I've got 2 teenagers and an elementary school, and I mean, depending on the topic, it's a 1-word answer, 2-word answer, 3-word answer, and this is pretty common, right? How do we urge our children to share and communicate?
Well, there are a couple easy strategies, and then there are a couple strategies that are a little more complicated that I can get into. But some of the easy stuff you can do is really kind of make talk times routine in your child's life. So at bedtime, maybe spend some time at the end of the bed talking to them on the way to volleyball practice. Turn down the radio.
Sure. Take out the earbuds.
Take out the earbuds. Spend some time. You really want to capitalize on time alone with the child or adolescent, whether it's in the car or whether it's in your own home, whether it's running an errand. That's important. And then it's important also to ask specific questions. So like you said, you know, I don't think a parent in the world has gotten a good response from "How was your day?"
Right. Fine.
Or "Did you have a good day?" Exactly. Exactly. So what you want to do is you really want to ask, you know, "Honey, how was that chemistry test you were so worried about? How did that go? Honey, how was Becky's birthday party?" So, and that really relates to the child that you care and that you know enough about their life to ask a specific question. And that will lead to a much richer dialogue than "How was your day? Did you have a good day?"
And as far as other topics, though, because there are times when, you know, if they happen to catch the news or something's going on or getting passed around school, trying to get, you know, information versus misinformation. There's some pretty heavy things happening in the world. And how do we, I guess if we have the routine established, then we can get into, it'll be easier to get into the tougher subjects?
Absolutely. So there are 4 things you want to remember. The first one is to be mindful of your own emotional state. So if you are stressed out or preoccupied with a work issue or something like that, you really want to be aware of that so you can kind of consciously set that aside so you can put your child or adolescent's feelings first. The second thing to do is really you want to really look for feelings. So we're quick to leap to the behaviors and to fixing our kids' problems or problem solving, but really understanding the feelings underneath the issue is very, very important, because what that does is that reduces the child's anxiety about the issue, and then they can move to a place where they can calmly problem solve. And when you reduce the child's anxiety, you know, and it dissipates, they're much more well adjusted as they go on with their life. You know, if you're not able to empathize or really identify and reflect feelings, then those anxieties might linger, and you can have a child that might be, you know, become anxious and depressed. So empathizing with the feelings are important, and I'll give you, if you don't mind, I can give you an example of kind of some, because it is a little bit complicated. Okay, so a mom might be in her office, you know, dealing with an important work issue, and her daughter might come in and she might be crying, and, you know, "I don't want to go into 1st grade, I hate school," you know, carrying on about that. And, you know, and it'd be easy for the mom to say, "Oh, you know, you're a great student, and, you know, you've always done well in school." And that's a natural response, you know, from a parent. But what that does is it contradicts how the child's feeling. So that's where the empathy comes in. So the parent really has to listen for the feelings and say something like, "You're really upset about going into 1st grade, huh? What's upsetting you?" That will then open up the conversation, open up the dialogue, and the child might say something like, "Well, I'm afraid my teacher's going to be mean," or I'm afraid it will be too hard."
You get to the underlying issue, the specifics of the feelings.
And even then, it's easy for a parent to say, "Oh, well, you're a great student," or "Well, you have lots of friends. You know, this will be a piece of cake." And again, that contradicts
the feeling.
The feeling.
Wonderful.
So a good response would then be, "Well, honey, those are big worries, and I understand, and those are important worries." And once you do that, you can move to the 3rd step, which is problem solving. And most parents are good at the 3rd step. So,
but they skip to the 3rd step, right?
Yes, and that's the issue. They skip to the 3rd step without doing number 2.
Okay, well, we're running out of time. Can we skip to the 4th step for us?
Okay, 4th step. After you help the child problem solve, the 4th step is for some reason, it's really nice for a child to hear a story about what a similar thing that you went through as a child.
Okay.
So it's another form of empathizing with it. But kids love to hear a story about, you know, well, I felt that way when I was going into 2nd grade, and then they ask, well, how did you feel better about it? And then you could talk about that.
Wonderful, yeah.
And for some reason, kids love that.
Remind the children that you were a child once yourself, and that Dad's human.
Yes,
Where can we track down your books?
Pardon me?
What's the best place to track down your books?
Amazon.com, and they're also on the publisher's website. So Green Dragon Books and Anaphora Literary Press.
Wonderful, great stuff. Thank you so much. We'll make sure we put those links on IndieStyle.tv.
Sounds good.
Appreciate your
Thanks
time
for
and your
having
expertise.
me.
You got to listen for the feelings.
Thank you.
Stop trying to fix everything, Dad.
No,
listen for the feelings.
We do that. That's what we do. That's what we do as parents. All right.